Oh, guess what?
What?
Our presentation's not up.
Oh,
where did it go?
Well, I'm so surprised.
It was there.
What did you do with it?
I have no idea.
Hang on, everybody.
Wow, it was there. Where did it go? Okay, we're uploading again.
Ta-da! Here we are.
There we go.
Ah.
Breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for listening into the monthly Vagaro Salon Software Business Webinar. And welcome to the Profitable Salon Owner, where our motto is...
We get salon owners profitable fast.
Are you sure it's salon owners? That threw us off, didn't it?
It did throw me off because I was so ready.
Anyways, welcome everybody. And Catherine and I, of course, are the two blondes with passion. And our passion is really working with all of you in helping you solve your business problems. So we really appreciate you being with us today. And today we are talking about how to build your sales strategically throughout the coming year. So we've created a checklist for increased sales.
Yes, and these are really strategic questions to ask. And really what it is, it's a compilation of everything that we talk about, but we've put it into a checklist so that you can, after we're finished, you can send us your email address. We will send you the PDF so that you can actually have this checklist. I think they're really important questions to go through one by one and sit down and write things out. Remember, Aileen and I are big believers in writing everything out so that you can actually go back and look over what it is that your goals were at the beginning of 2016.
Right. And believe me, if you follow this checklist, you cannot help but increase your sales this year.
Yeah.
So let's get started, Kath, because we've got a big list to go through today.
We do.
Okay. So number one is, do you have clear, specific, and realistic goals written down for 2016? And to reaffirm what Catherine just said, the written word is extremely powerful. And remember that the difference between a dream of success and reality of a goal is the written word.
Yes. And so one of the things, we're talking about increased sales this year. If you're not talking about increased sales, you're probably on the wrong webinar. So maybe you want to jump off and get on a different one, but that isn't this one. We want to see you increase your sales this year.
Raise your hands, all those who want increased sales over the next year. Ta-da!
So first things first, do you know how much of that increase will come from existing customers? And when we talk about existing customers, it's all the clients you have now. You don't need to go out and get one more client. But remember I think it was even last month, we talked about if you just raised every one of those clients' average ticket by $5, there's an automatic increase right there.
Absolutely. Now, we know that you're Vagaro customers because you're on this webinar. And if you've got your Vagaro system in place, then you already have a list of your existing customers. And you need to really take a look at it and analyze who your existing customers are and where they're coming from, right?
Yeah, and you'll also know what your average ticket is for every customer. Because
exactly.
You have to
know
your
database.
Yeah, you have to know where you're starting in order to know where you want to go.
Exactly. So the second part of this question is how you're going to achieve that increase from your existing customers, and then take a look at how much is going to come from new customers and how you're going to achieve that.
So let's say existing customers, Aileen. Let's just throw out a couple of ideas for existing customers.
Well, and I think in a way you almost nailed it, Kath, by taking a look at the average ticket price. Because if we take a look at how we're going to increase that average ticket price, that's pretty easy to do. What's the best way to do it?
A price increase.
Absolutely. Come on, it's the new year, you guys, and we have to take a look at what were we charging last year. I know that your costs are going to go up this year. So we have to have our pricing be reflective of those changes. So right off the bat, we are looking at an increase because we need to be increasing our prices. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, huge, enormous jumps.
No.
So really take a look at your pricing structure. Make sure that it is reflective of what's going on in your expense column.
And my favorite, the add-on sale.
Exactly.
Because I know that most of us don't ask. They don't ask for anything extra. Your customers walk through the door, and guess what? They leave with what they came in for. No new information. We talk about product. There's a great way to add on some dollars.
Well, Kathy, you and I often talk about McDonald's mainly because of the success of their business and the business model. But one of the statistics that came out of their famous add-on, do you want fries with that, is that we have learned that 3 out of 10 people will take the add-on sale. So yes, you've still got 7 people who are perhaps saying no to you, but you've got 3 out of 10 people who are taking that add-on sale. So let's take just a really quick, brief overview of what you can do on add-on. First of all, do you want conditioner with your shampoo? Do you want a finishing spray with your styling product? We have what we call pop-up sales at the front counter, those quick little pick-me-ups, right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
a lip gloss or a mascara or anything that's right at the front counter, right in your client's face, because these add-on sales can make the whole difference in our profit margins at the end of the year.
It's huge, absolutely huge. And even to your stylists or your estheticians, if you can get them to understand that rather than seeing more people in a day or in a week or in a month, if they just took the time to talk about other things with their existing clients, that's where their increases can come from. And, have a menu. We've talked about that. Have menus, add-on menus for all of your different categories. Add-on nail services, add-on pedicure services, add-on
hair
facials. But facials are huge. You can add on different things when you're doing a facial. You have the person there. Make it worthwhile.
For sure. And now the second part of that question is, how much of our new revenues will come from new customers, and how will you achieve that? And I think that we're going to leave that to build into some of the other questions as we go along.
Yes, absolutely.
Because, for example, question number 3 is, do we have a clearly defined target customers? Well, part of that is attracting new customers. Do we understand them and what they value? Because the better we understand our customers, of course, the more we will sell.
Absolutely.
And how are we going to achieve that?
Well, who are you trying to attract? And that would be my number one question to ask. And please, if you say everyone,
yeah.
Then Aileen is going to reach through the screen and bop you, because that's not a clearly defined target customer.
For sure. And yes, you may have clients coming into your salon of all ages, but you will find that you have a specific category that you're actually attracting. And if you take a look at, statistical math, you'll find that on a bell curve, for example, that the largest group of your customers are going to come from a specific range. Yes, there'll be younger ones coming in, and yes, there'll be older ones coming in, but you're going to have an average target customer. Okay?
Absolutely.
And you really need to be taking a look at who that customer is, because part of that defines who you are as a salon, right? You have to decide, like, for example, Catherine, your salon in Winnipeg, you attract the professional woman more than any. That's your target audience.
That's who we go after.
But do you also cut children's hair?
Yes, we do. And we do seniors and we do men. But, the businesswoman is who we do our marketing. That's who we gear our marketing to. That's how we model our marketing when we're doing those things, because I know that business client is going to come in and have haircuts. I know that business client is going to have color. I know that business client is probably going to look after her skin and her nails and have pedicures, because guess what? They actually have disposable income.
Exactly. And wouldn't you just love to have customers who have disposable income? So the quintessential question here on this question is, do you understand your customers, and how are you going to go about achieving that? And probably the best way to do it, and if you haven't done it for a while, please this year, put out a client survey. Find out what it is, first of all, who your client is. Find out their age category, their gender, their likes, their dislikes. Find out as much as you possibly can about the customers that are coming to see you.
Yeah. And, in our hair loss center in Victoria, we definitely, we look after everyone. We're not going to say to men, no, you can't come in. But we have geared everything that we have done towards women. From the look of the space to the marketing that we do to the colors, it is really geared towards women. Do men come in? Yes. Do we have magazines at the front for men? Yes, we do. But we know that we are going after the women's market. So, be very specific when you're looking at who your target client is. Make sure that your space aligns with that client.
And Amanda, you just nailed it. Specialize in a specific category. And that's exactly what it is, because it's amazing what will come through your door. It also really helps you in aligning and determining your business plan for the year.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Let's hit the next slide, Kath.
Yes, we will.
And our next question for you is...
Did it go? No.
Here
we go.
Ta-da!
And we touched on this because it's so critical. Is our pricing right? Are we too expensive, or are we underpricing our services? I would say 9 times out of 10, we are underpriced.
I would have to agree. In the hundreds of salons that I have called on over the years, it is amazing to me, how to get away with their pricing. And to me, it's really, really a sad story, because I believe that by underpricing ourselves, we're also saying we're showing our fear that we're not worth it. And that to me is extremely, extremely scary. I also believe that sometimes we get so caught up in our business and doing hair that we forget to take a look at what's happening with our books. We're not paying attention to increasing expenses, increased rents, increased product costs.
Product goes up
every
year, without fail, sometimes twice a year.
Exactly. I remember when I first started selling wholesale hair color into salons. A tube of color, I think, was around $2.75, $3. Well, that same tube of color is like often over $8 now.
Yeah.
And so, we're seeing all these increases, but what I don't see is a reflection of that in the pricing that we're putting out. I would say that in the last 20 years, we have seen our expenses sometimes for sure double, sometimes even triple. But our pricing has not doubled, and it certainly hasn't tripled, except in a very few circumstances where, yes, perhaps they have kept in line. So you guys, we have to stay on top of our pricing. Absolutely. It's the most important thing you can do.
And the biggest part of this is to really be honest with yourself. I think that's really hard for us as service providers. We touch people. So then all of a sudden, because we touch people, they're our friends. It's really hard to charge a friend. But guess what? This is your business. This is your livelihood. This is your life. You need to keep friendship and business completely separate.
And the other thing I really want you to take a look at is we are a trade. And I want you to take a look at what some of the other trades charge for their hourly services. And then take a look. Are you in line with what other trades are doing? Because believe me, some of the other trades out there don't even require the amount of expertise or education that you need to be able to do the job that you do. So really take a look at how important your value is.
Yes.
Okay, and just a quick note here on pricing, Kat, is how do you determine your pricing? Here's the thing, is take a look at your expenses first.
Yes.
You have to do this in a systemized approach. You must take a look at what your expenses are.
Yeah, don't phone the salon down the street to find out what they charge, because their expenses could be completely different than yours. So honestly, I really want to ask this question. Are there people listening to this that will raise their prices this year? Soon. Let me not say this year. this month.
This month, before the end of January.
Desiree, yes.
Yes, Desiree. All right. You rock. Yes, Sean. Yes. Thank you.
We have to keep pace with everything else that's going on. And we are so timid about doing that. It's your value, your life. Please do it. Sooner than later.
And let's share a quick rule of thumb here on pricing, Kath, because really what you want to do is take a look at your rent expense. And if you have any debt, I want you to add that in. Then multiply times 7. That's the kind of revenue that you really need to generate to break even. So it'll give you a kind of a rough idea of where you need to go. And if you're falling behind, it will give a quick insight on whether you're falling behind or not.
Yeah. So that's our sermon about pricing.
Yes.
You know, you all know where you're placed with that, and you all know what you need to do now. So number 5, realistically, is the experience customers receive extraordinary and current, or is it really mediocre and boring?
And where could we use improvement?
Yeah.
Well, okay. How do you determine whether you're giving a great experience?
And, you know, Aileen, I know that you can talk to this, and, you know, you've been in and out of salons your whole career, and you see it all the time.
And the thing is that Catherine touched on this, is we tend to take our clients for granted. They come to us 3 or 4 times. Now all of a sudden they've moved into the friendship category, and we start taking them for granted. Well, of course, the number one reason that clients leave us is, of course, because of boredom, right? Or mediocrity, or we just haven't moved on. We haven't offered them the opportunity to change. But I really believe that the best way to figure it out is to hire a mystery shopper.
Yes.
Find out, you know, get somebody, because I think that we should all have like a mystery shopper attitude. I think that every person who sits in our chair, we should sort of think, okay, this could be a mystery shopper. So I am going to give them the most exquisite experience that they've ever had. And we should be doing that for every single client that sits in our chair.
Yeah.
But you can use a mystery shopper, whether you're a big salon or if you are even a single operator. And if you're a single operator and you want to have a mystery shopper, what you do is you ask a friend to find a friend to set it out. And they won't know, you won't know that they're a mystery shopper. And then what they'll do is they will submit their receipt at the end, and you would actually pay them to come in and do it. But you give them an entire list of questions that they're going to answer, of the things that you want to know about, right from parking to beverages to greeting, the whole
9 yards.
Yeah.
To the consultation. And again, I really am going to urge you, because it's the beginning of a new year, really think about, you know, your consultation, because that's where everything begins. Like walking in the door, yes, that's very important. But when you sit down and you have a consultation with a client, it sets up something completely different. So I want you, if you haven't been, especially with your long-term clients, if you haven't been doing a consultation with them on a regular basis, I want you, next time they come in, I want you to take a few minutes and sit them down, sit with them at eye level and say, you know, it's been a long time since we had a consultation. Let's sit down. Let's talk about what we could do that's different. What would you like? Is there something different that you would like? Have you seen something? You know, just sit there with them eye to eye and give them your time and listen to what they tell you.
Don't even get me started on listening. I just want to go back, Kath. We've got a question here from Liz. That equation, Liz, on figuring out your pricing is take your rent plus any debt that you're taking care of, that you're servicing every month, and multiply it times 7. So if you're paying $1,000 in rent and you're paying $250 a month in debt servicing, you would add those two together to have $1,250, and you would multiply that times 7. And this is just a general.
And that's what you need for break even.
Yeah. And Sean, we do have a list of questions for a mystery shopper. And at the very end of this presentation, our email address will come up. And if you send us an email at the end, well, we'll send you our questions for the mystery shopper. Okay.
Yeah. So, and again, this is a checklist for you to use. We're just giving you ideas, our ideas on some of the things that could change. So, you know, at the end of number 5, it says, where could we use improvement? Again, we're asking you to be really honest with yourself, because honesty is what is going to take you from where you are today to the next level.
And we have to be open to self-critique. We have to really be able to assess our skills, but assess where it is that we're going to make our improvements. You know, sometimes it's as simple as, you know, making a better cup of coffee, you know.
Oh, but, yeah. And we've had that actually in my own salon in Winnipeg. That was one of the big things was they hated our coffee service. So.
Or we've heard some magazine choices. People wanted a different magazine. So, you know, sometimes your improvements can be really, really small, but at least it's an opportunity to improve, right? And we have to continually to challenge ourselves as well, because by challenging ourselves, then we won't get bored.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is when we get bored, it passes on to our clients.
Absolutely. So there's the other thing.
It's complacency.
Yeah. And what are you going to do this year to make sure you don't get bored?
Yeah,
right?
You need to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So number 6, are we easy and convenient to find, and are we easy to contact?
Okay, pet peeve here, people. Pet peeve here, because being out and about looking for salons, I often use like a map finder and a Google Quest or whatever. And I cannot believe the number of people who do not have a website, or if they have a website, do not have a mobile website, which is the most horrible thing, because nobody will know where you are. And by the way, a Facebook page is not a website.
No. Well, thanks for that, Ren. But again, look at, you know, are you easy and convenient to find? But here's the other thing. Are we easy to contact? Because I have tried to reach a few people and I only ever get voicemail, and it drives me crazy.
Well, and the other thing I find is even when I look at some of the websites, first of all, if they're not mobile friendly and you have to pinch it on your mobile phone to try and find it, but you can't find their phone number. What's the first thing that you should be able to find for someone? I want to be able to hit that phone number and call it up right away.
Yeah. And because you are all Vagaris, guess what? You are easy to find because you're all on the Vagaro website. You are easy to contact because people can go online. So I think that's really, you know, you're ahead of the game in this. So we won't beat this to death, because I do think that by virtue of being Vagaris, you're already there.
Exactly. So just make sure though that you have, you know, in any marketing that you do, that you make sure that your phone number and address are front and center.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk about marketing as we get further down. So number 7, do we have policies that irritate and alienate customers? Now, this is a good one.
It is, because, you know, we have seen some policies. For example, I find that return policies are often policies that irritate and alienate customers. And of course, redos, like chemical errors, can irritate and alienate customers. So, you know, you have to really think that if someone comes to you and says that there's something going wrong, you have to be flexible in your policy. You have to really think, how can I make this client happy? Because you have to be able to bend the rules too.
Yeah. So let me just give you a little bit of a
scenario,
an actual scenario. We have a hair loss center. We had a client come in, bought a long human hairpiece from us. That's a big ticket item. Yep. You know, that's a couple of $1,000s. And she wore it for a little while, and she kept coming back. And I didn't know if it was because it was the first time she'd had one or what was going on. But, you know, bottom line is she wasn't happy with it. So we ended up replacing it for her. Now that was
out of the business's pocket.
Out of the business. We replaced it for her. Now she'd had it for about 7 months. So what I said to her, you know, we can we will do it for this much money, which was a fraction of what it cost. Would you be happy with that? You know what? We now have a raving fan. She has said to us on so many occasions, I have never experienced service like I have received here. I tell everybody.
And we had a gentleman who bought wet products from us. And, after several months of use, he came back and said, this just isn't working for me. And even though the bottles were half empty, we smiled and said, no problem, not to worry, here's your money back. Because again, although it wasn't working for him, he became a raving fan and sent all sorts of people to us.
Yeah. And the other big thing in this day and age of the internet, do you have any negative reviews you've not responded to that can hurt your integrity? Any review that you get, please respond to. If it's positive, say thank you.
Yes.
If it is negative,
deal with it.
Deal with it. Invite the people, this is publicly, invite the people to come back in so that you can, help make it right. If they won't, at least you have answered it and people can see your response to it.
Exactly. And it's in the trying sometimes that makes everything. When you just sort of ignore it and brush it under the carpet and pretend it doesn't exist, well, it's still sitting out there. It's still sitting out there. But when you attempt to take care of things, people see that. And it makes all the difference in the world because nothing disappears on the internet.
No,
unfortunately.
No, it does stay there. And I mean, anybody can go and do anything. And I mean, that's one of the things that I have a problem with some of the review sites, because there's one in particular that people can put anything up there, a competitor, whatever. But again, at least if you respond to it, then the public can see that you have responded, you have tried to make it better, blah, blah, blah. So that, I think, goes a long way to helping.
It does. And believe me, our integrity is huge. It is everything. Our reputation is everything in this business. Oh, and by the way, Desiree, yes, all of us, we can email to you afterwards, okay? And by the way, Vigaro also records this and they post it on their Facebook. So you can always listen to us time and time again. How exciting is that?
Oh,
and I every morning, Catherine.
I'm not sure, Aileen. Although we do have clients that say they have our discs, our CDs in their car and they listen to us on the way to work.
Yeah, we like that.
We probably get a little nauseating after a while, though.
Oh, us?
Yeah,
never. So number 8, are we creating customers or raving fans? Because fans help grow our business. What 5 things could we do to turn customers into fans who become our best form of advertising? Because this goes right back to the heart of our business. The number 1 marketing tool that we have is word of mouth. So how do we turn our customers into raving fans? What is it that we have to do?
We have to give a great experience every time they walk in.
Not just a great experience. I think we have to step outside the box. And I go back to one of the things that you did years ago, Catherine, and I think it's a perfect example of what exceptional customer service looks like. You had a customer who I think it was during a snowstorm or whatever, and couldn't get into the salon.
Mrs. Meltzer?
I think it was Mrs. Meltzer, yes.
No, in those days I was in Winnipeg, and if anybody knows what Winnipeg is like, it's like probably one of the coldest cities in North America in the winter. And Mrs. Meltzer's husband used to drop her off on a Friday morning to get her hair done. And occasionally he would drop her off fairly early, so she'd be standing outside my business until I got there. And I was always early. But, I had 4 kids and I had to get them to school, and sometimes the roads were bad. So occasionally I would be a little later than what I was hoping to be. So I decided that because Mrs. Meltzer was standing out there freezing, that I would swing by and pick her up. And that continued for 20 years.
Good Lord. Now, you see, that is what creates, would Mrs. Meltzer go anywhere else? Of course not. She needed her ride.
So every Friday morning, But
there's other things you can do. For example, say you're out of a product. We've gone into salons where we've seen stylists or reception staff deliver product to their customers. Say, don't worry, I'll bring it by for you when it comes in. In fact, last year, I even ran out to the store while a client was having a treatment to get a flat iron that I knew that she wanted to purchase that we didn't have in stock. And I ran out to get it. And wasn't she impressed?
It was the same client with the hairpiece.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. She was a raving fan, believe me.
But those are little things that you can do to turn your customers into raving fans, because it's the raving fans who build your referral business. Right.
So seriously, sit down and truly think about this. Do a little analysis of this and think about 5 things that you could do, small, and they don't have to be giant things, but 5 small things that you could do to turn your clients into these incredible fans.
Remembering what they drink every time they come in.
Yeah.
You know, like just remembering, what kind of tea they like and how they like it. Those are all things that attach you to people.
And remember, with your Vagaro system, you guys, you've got a place where you can make notes in your client files. And you should be coming into work before your clients arrive and check out who's coming in today. Take a look, make notes in their files and find out, oh yes, this is the one who loves the cucumber water or whatever it is. But make sure that you know who your clients are for that day. Take notes.
Yeah. And I mean, here's some things right after, in the next question. Do we need to deliver more extraordinary customer experiences? Maybe you're doing a great job. You know? You have to ask yourself, are you joyful and welcoming every single time somebody walks into your space? And I tell the story of a regular client. This is a number of years ago. One of my staff, a client had come to see her for years, and she was a weekly client. And one day, can't remember the client's name right off the top of my head, but the stylist name was Jeanette, and Jeanette was at the back of the salon, and the client walked in the door and Jeanette crooked her finger to say, come on down. And the client never came back. And the client called me and told me why she wasn't coming back. She said, nobody does that to me.
She was totally insulted.
We don't know what really insults people.
No, we don't. But I do know that when you greet somebody with a smile on your face and you reach out to shake their hand, whether they're close friend or not, but you can't help but get a smile in return.
And the next part of this, I think I must have had too much wine before I typed this, because I'm about the only one that can understand this. Do people feel better every time they interact with us?
Yeah.
Do they leave feeling better? Because that's a big one.
Well, I kind of thought maybe you're talking about like once they move into overtime. Are they still really happy?
No, I think I must have done this when I'd had a glass of wine. I'm not sure, but really, do people feel better when they leave? Do they feel better than when they came in?
And that is our goal. That is, and that is what our industry is all about. Don't forget, we're one of the only industries that touch people, like physically touch people time and time again. And some of the clients that come in to see you, they're not touched by anybody. So you have a very special gift that you bring to the table. And we really want people to think, oh gosh, I can hardly wait to go get my hair done because I'm going to see so-and-so and they're going to make me feel great. That is the greatest achievement that we can do.
And I just think, that's an awareness piece. You have to be aware of that, because oftentimes you don't feel good coming into the business in the morning. You may not be feeling well. You may have had a fight with your husband. You may have, just not feel all that great. But when you walk in that door, you better put your game face on, because you are on stage.
That's right. You have to check your attitude at the front door. Once you pass that portal, guess what?
Smile.
You are now a professional in a completely different scenario. Forget your personal life. You've got to, smile and the world smiles with you.
Well, it's pretty damn true.
And I think this last question, though, Kath, is really crucial, because do our frontline staff totally engage in their role?
Oh, how many times have we walked into salons and been completely turned off within 10 seconds?
Yes, because of the a snobby attitude, because of
Being
body
ignored.
language, anything. So really think your frontline staff are the first face of your business. Whether you are, if you're the frontline staff because you're a single operator, I really want you to think about this, because even if you're working on one client's hair and your next client comes in, you need to be able to acknowledge them.
Look up and smile.
Yes, and you cannot believe how many times that we see that doesn't happen. And so you're standing there kind of twiddling your thumbs thinking, well, do they not want me here? Do they know that I'm here?
Oh yeah, and trust me, Aileen and I have been in and out of a lot of salons, and we have seen a lot of front desk people, when they don't know who we are, they're not putting their game face on.
No.
So it's but that's what the regular client is being, that's how they're being treated.
Yeah, they don't know that we're consultants in there to, chat to someone about growing business or whatever. We could be new clients, but we've had some really scary experiences. It's pretty.
Yeah, we could be a mystery shopper.
Yeah, exactly. But we often end up walking out, killing ourselves laughing, shaking our heads. And the ones that we get great reception from, you guys, we become raving fans of yours and tell people all about you.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. So, take a step outside and watch. Watch when somebody walks in, what happens.
You're right, Amanda. Regular training also helps. In fact, we have to train, and train again. That is a crucial role. In fact, we'll have to one time this year, we're going to have to do a webinar on training. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along. So what improvements could we make to display our merchandising or presentation in order to maximize sales at point of purchase? Aileen, this is your baby. You go with it.
I think that one of the hardest things that we have going for us as an industry is the wet products that we're selling are pretty boring when it comes to making merchandising. We tend to have, bottles of shampoos and conditioners all lined up on the shelf, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's just, when the client walks in, really that's all they kind of see is just these lines of products. And lately I am starting to see some more interesting forms of merchandising for our business. So I really want you to take a look, go Google displays, et cetera. Take a look at how can you show off your product so that it's a little bit different. It's not just bottles lined up on top of each other. How can you use different levels to draw the eye? How can you use other pieces of stuff to accentuate it?
Well, how can you, if you sell organic skincare, how you can use fruit or vegetables,
right.
or
or what about creating like a little framed scenario on what a new product is, and you have a nice little display.
Product of the month.
Like, how can you change it up to really make it great to look at? Go and take a look and see how some of the department stores handle their wet lines, because they do a beautiful job of it. I find that drug stores and grocery stores, they just do the same, facings. And yes, it can look tidy. And if that's how you do it, please make sure it's clean and tidy and dusted on a regular basis. But if you want to make something really pop out, you've got to step outside the box when it comes to display and merchandising. Think outside the box. Start thinking about levels. Take some of the product off the shelf and hide, and have it as backup stock, right?
And, we were talking about add-on sales.
Yes.
This is going to be helpful to add-on sales.
You got it. Because, like, for example, say you create like a little volumizing category, and you have like 5 or 6 products in a little category, and with a little sign saying, well, this is how you're going to build more volume in your hair. And maybe perhaps you have a brush with it or something. So when someone's looking at it, you can say, well, look at this conditioner is what enhances this shampoo.
And you know what? It makes it easy for people to look at and understand, rather than seeing a bunch of product kind of all over the place. If you group groupings,
yes,
make it easier for people to understand it. It instantly they look and go, I see now all these products go together.
Now, one of my biggest pet peeves is on what we call pick-me-ups, which is little display items that are on your counter. And so, for example, like a lip gloss, you'll see a package and you get a pre-pack, and there'll be 6 little lip glosses in this little pre-pack. Well, people start to buy them, and then you have empty spaces, and the empty spaces don't sell. You have to keep your little display continually filled up. So if you're buying a little POP, buy 2, right? So and then refill all the time, because what's at your counter is going to sell. And then once you start losing it and you've got 2 or 3 empty spots, take it out of that POP and put it in a little glass jar or something different, because the empty spaces don't sell. It's amazing.
Yeah. So hope you'll go back and take a look at what you're doing now and see how you can improve that. All right, moving right along. So, and do we utilize our contact management system, which is Vagaro, to follow up with our customers? Do we wow customers with our consistency?
Oh gosh, Kath, this has got to be one of the most important questions that a service business can ask themselves. The amount of information that you've got in your database right now is really everything that you need to set yourself up for success this year. Because the clue here is there's two things here: follow-up and consistency. These are the things that are going to build your business without fail. And here's one of the things that Kath and I find is people often start out with a great idea, and maybe they follow up the first time, and then they think, oh, there, I've done it. Done.
No, that's a one-off.
Yeah. One-offs
do not work.
No.
And it's something I am passionate about is follow-up. Follow up, follow up, follow up. It costs us so much money to get one client through our door.
Why would you let them escape?
Why would you let them? Yeah, and really, more often than not, it's just about follow up. It's reaching out and touching them, sending them a thank you. I can't tell you, we send out thank you cards with gift vouchers in it, depending on how much somebody has spent with us, because we have a different type of business. But depending how much somebody has spent with us, that determines how much we send out. We send like $50 vouchers out to some people, 35 to others. And I can't tell you, like, people walk through the door clutching that voucher and go, oh, this was such a pleasant surprise. You made my day.
Yes.
Because we actually did something. And, I handwrite a little note in everybody's file, in everybody's card. Is it time consuming? Yes. But you know what? It is worth it. Right. I am telling you, it is so worth it.
And you can delegate this, or you can, when you're sitting at home, if you're a one-person operator, take it home with you and write them up daily.
But the nice part about Vagaro is you actually take your all your information with you.
Yes, that's the benefit,
so
right?
It's mobile. You can, when you're at home, you can, I'll do some of these at home. You can do that. You don't have to sit down at your salon to do this.
So not only do we send out thank you cards, but what about sending out cards to people you haven't seen in a while?
Yeah,
right.
And we've talked about this. In fact, we have a webinar on Vagaro that is about follow up.
Yes,
and I'm such a believer in follow up. Honestly, keep in touch with your customers.
It is the most important thing, because after all, if you're letting them trail away from you, you're losing them. We have to wow them with our consistency. So it's not just once, it's continual. And I'm going to go back to something here, is that I really believe that, like everything else, follow-up is part of a system. And what you really want to do before the year carries on is put together the system that you are going to do. How are you going to reach out to people? How often are you going to reach out to people? You're going to write it down. Okay, So new clients, I'm going to do this for. Existing clients, I'm going to do this for. Every 6 months, I'm going to do this. Every 3 months, I'm going to do that. Write it down and then follow it religiously.
Yeah. And I mean, don't, I know some people kind of go into overwhelm when we talk about this. Oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to find time? Start with one thing. If the one thing you want to do, well, I would say two things are I think, vitally important. One is for new clients. I think you definitely should be sending them out something within a week of them being in your space. And I do believe that we should send something physical. That's just me. We are bombarded with emails. We are bombarded with messages every day. We get very little through our mailbox anymore. It is lovely. And that's why we do it that way.
And it's a hand addressed envelope. So people are really excited to open it. And as I say, when they show up waving this gift card in their hands, it's like, well, this is working.
Yeah. And if you stay on top of it, it's manageable, because how many new clients do you see in a week?
Exactly. So what's the second thing, Kat?
And the second thing is missing customers.
The 6 months.
Yeah. So, if you haven't seen a client I would go out as far as 4 months now. It used to be 90 days. I really think that our clients are pushing their appointments further apart.
They sure are.
If you haven't seen somebody for 4 months, then you need to send out an offer to them.
And find out what it is, because did you do something wrong?
Yeah.
Right? And there's all sorts of cute ways to reach out. And I think also if you check on some of the Vigaro marketing, you'll find some answers there too. Really make use of this incredible resource that you've got monthly, okay?
Yeah. And Amanda says regular training also helps. Dedicate one of your staff to look after this. It can be a target for them. And absolutely, it doesn't you don't have to do everything yourself. If you have staff, if you have front desk staff, then absolutely tie this to some goals for them and make sure that one thing you do have to do is make sure it's being done.
Amanda, am I reading this wrong? You're listening in from Townsville in Queensland, Australia? How exciting. That's so cool.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you.
That is a long way away.
Is it ever?
And this is, we talked about this earlier. Does our location or the look of our location turn off customers in any way?
Oh my gosh.
And how can we improve?
I will never forget this one day that you and I were out calling on salons, and we walked by this salon, and the front of their salon was, it was so disgusting. We didn't even bother going in.
No. Yeah,
it was such a turnoff. It was unbelievable. And you have to be able to look at your business with a fresh eye and see what it is. What is everybody else seeing when they come in? Is the front of your doors covered in decals? Is your window attractive? Would you want to shop? Have you got waiting chairs in your window so that you're selling waiting time? I mean, really, really take a look at what is the look of your salon. And honestly, you guys, it does not have to be $1 million salon. If it's clean, tidy, and attractive, you can do it on a budget. Believe me, we've seen it, and it can still look fantastic on a budget.
And we do have a checklist. If anyone is interested in getting a checklist to do a walkthrough of their premises,
yes,
we do have one available if you ask for it.
Yeah, and again, we'll give you our email address at the end, and you can send us a note, right?
And look at it and say, how can we improve? It's interesting because when I go back to Winnipeg, which I don't do very often anymore, and I go into the salon, I pick up things that they don't even see anymore because they're walking in every day and it's tunnel vision.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a really great idea because, ask a friend, say, who hasn't been in your salon for a while, say, hey, could you do me a favor? Could you do a walkthrough and tell me what it is we might be missing? Because we do get tunnel vision.
Yeah. You may not see, because you don't sit at the shampoo sink, you may not see the vents overhead that are covered in dust.
Yeah. Or, you've got water stains or whatever. So, really take a look. How can we improve?
Or that wax pot that's just nasty.
Disgusting.
So, there's lots of different little bits, but those are all the things that turn clients off.
No kidding.
And trust me, they often don't tell you. They just leave.
Yeah.
They never come back, and you never know why. Because if you're not following up and you're not reaching out to them and asking them why we haven't seen you, think you don't care, and really you don't.
And I got to tell you this little story, because I was in the salon last week and I went into their back room, and they had, I'm going to say, 50 open color tubes sitting on their back counter.
Ugh.
Like 50, just lying all over the place. No rhyme or reason or organization. And of course, you can imagine what I had to say about that. Pretty frightening. So don't forget, it doesn't stop at the back room door. Go right into the back room and take a look at what you can do to make sure even your back room is appropriate for a client to walk into.
Yeah. All right, moving right along.
Yeah, do a Tabitha Salon takeover inspection. You got it, Amanda. Absolutely. I'll never forget that show, one of the shows she did, and I think they had rats, mice, they had cockroaches. Oh, it was,
Okay, so here we go again. Again, you guys have this down, but are you using it? Do you consistently use your database to add value? Build relationships and remind customers what you offer. So
you're here.
You know, you have it at your fingertips. If you're not using it, trust me, get on it. It's so easy to send out a message to your clients through Vagaro. It is simple. So, make sure you're doing that on a regular basis. Send out offers. Don't bombard them with offers, but once a month, make sure you're sending out an offer. Reach out and touch people. Just let them know what's coming up in the salon.
When they talk about building relationships, remember that even though a client only comes to see you once every 2 or 3 months, you still have a relationship with them when they're not in the salon. Because when we talk about having raving fans, that means you have a relationship with somebody, that there's a give and take going on, right? So we have to continually remind our customers that we are there. Right? I really believe that we need to be doing like blogs or newsletters. I think that is one of the most important things. And sometimes they're not even about offers. It's just keeping your business in the front of their mind. Yeah.
And you can put your blog on your social media page.
Exactly.
So they all kind of tie into one another, but the more you put out there, the better actually Google likes you.
Yes.
And you start going up in their search rankings.
So when people are looking for a salon in your area, you're going to come up faster.
Yeah. So in number 14, this is Eileen's favorite one. Does your website attract, inform, and engage your target customers? Remember, the target, you're going to narrow down the target. And if you are a salon, don't try and cater to everyone. Decide what it is that you love to do and really work with that. So
yes, sorry to talk over top of you, Kath, but again, what happens is, so for example, say that you specialize in fine and thinning hair, and because that is predominantly the largest category of our marketplace. But the thing is most of us don't actually advertise that. Mm-hmm. But say you market to that, you still get people with curly hair, you still get people with thick hair, but you are going to attract the people who think, oh my gosh, my hair is so fine and thin, I'm going to go see Amy.
Make yourself the expert. And you can't be the expert in everything. So decide what it is that you do. We've talked about this. If target curly hair, target fine and thinning hair. I've said many times, my salon in Winnipeg, we made it our mission in the spa department to do the best facials in town. And that's everything we did says that. And trust me, our facial business skyrocketed.
So find something that you are really great at and really focus on it. As I said, it doesn't eliminate all the other people from coming to you, but it does draw a specific category. And again, does your website make it easy for people to contact you? And is it mobile friendly? Can't stress it enough. Don't make me pinch the screen when I want to find you.
She hates that.
Pinching allowed.
Yeah, you should hear her. She goes, oh my God, how do you expect people to find you on their mobile phone? And honestly, most people are searching for us now on tablets and mobiles.
And in fact, if you take a look at the statistics, you will find, I think it's like something like 38% of people are finding you on a mobile device.
I think it's higher.
Is it higher now?
I think it's higher.
Check it out, you guys. It's really important. 15, is our advertising message clear and compelling? Advertising is really creative bragging. And what is your value message? Because, and I love that, it is creative bragging. What are you guys great at?
Again, just what we talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, don't try and be
all things to all people.
Yeah, you can't. So pick your category, and everything you do, that's what you go for. So that makes your advertising message clear and compelling.
You got it.
So
creative bragging.
Moving on.
Well, we guess we better hurry. Hey?
Yep.
Okay, next.
I'm trying.
You're trying. Do you have a great performance
I
guarantee that makes us famous and attracts more customers? And if not, you're going to create one.
So what I mean by that is, do you have a guarantee?
Yes.
And I mean, you're all going to say, oh, of course we do. We all have a guarantee. Do you actually put it in writing?
And is it available so that your people can see it?
Yeah.
Because really what you want to be able to say is, here at Look Fine Salon, we guarantee that
100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you are not satisfied, we will fix or give you your money back. I have no qualms about giving money back.
Absolutely.
Because there are some people you're
never going to please.
Yeah, you want them out the door.
Yep.
Not many, but you will do that. And like I said, we have done that. When we fire, I mean, to me, that's like firing a client, because there's those people you're never gonna
be happy.
But we guarantee everything we do.
And you know what? This is one of your expenses. And when when we talked about expenses earlier, you have to leave a percentage of your expenses or a percentage of your revenues into satisfying your clients. And you know what? You may have to do a couple of redos. You may have to refund a couple of people, but you know what? In the big picture, you will actually attract more customers.
And I have had so many clients when I traveled across the country and went into salons and gave this speech about the guarantee. I've had so many people say to me, oh, I couldn't possibly put that out there because, people would take money, right? People would take advantage of it. And I have to tell you, I mean, we see around 3,000 in my Winnipeg location. We see about 3,000 clients a month. And I'll tell you, there have been very few in all that time that have tried to take advantage. Yes, there have been a few. But you know what?
The percentage is so small, you guys. It's so small. Just really work on creating that guarantee. We're going to have to really be quick on these last two, Kath. What special events, seminars, trade shows, demonstrations could help us stand out of the crowd and increase sales? And last month we did a whole webinar.
We talked a lot about that. So I'm sure you all have an idea if you were all on it. If not, you can go back and check it out, because that really is making a difference. My big thing is getting out of your space.
Exactly. And that takes us actually to number 18. Can we find some joint venture partners to help us reach a wider audience? And I think this is such an incredibly valuable way to build your business this year. It's what we call Maven marketing. So what you're going to do is you're going to find other spokes in a wheel or the center of a wheel that they're going to talk about you to their clients,
or hand out gift vouchers to their client base. So, and you'll hand out vice versa. It could be a restaurant. It could be a boutique.
It could be a flower shop or a chocolate shop or whatever. But find somebody else in your neighborhood that you might partner with to help you reach a wider audience.
If you're a salon and you have no spa services, partner with a spa. Vice versa.
For sure.
So,
and don't forget the corporate world around you as well. All those people in offices, find a way to reach out to them, to bring them in. It's a great way to build your audience.
Yeah. And I just really want to say, the old saying, build it and they will come.
Not.
You really need to get out and get out there. And if this is the year that you decide to join a networking group, one can make such a huge difference, because you're out there, you're talking to people. but it's not you talking to people. It's the people talking to other people.
Exactly. And it's amazing to us how few professional stylists actually go to networking meetings, because we go to a lot of networking meetings and we don't run into a lot of stylists out there. And the one that Sophia, one of our local stylists, who's so fantastic networking here in Victoria, she's incredible. And the business that she's built out of her networking is amazing.
Yeah.
So anyways, you guys, we're sort of reaching the end of our rope here. So let's move on to our information so that we can share that with you. We are www.theprofitablesalonowner.com. And don't forget that Catherine and I put out a weekly newsletter every single Monday morning, and it is absolutely free. But we always try and come up with some tips and ideas for you to help you improve your business. And if you would like to contact us for this set of questions for the checklist, send us an email at info@theprofitablesalonowner.com. That will give us your email information and we'll send it back to you. And Toshiko, if you want to send us that note for the salon checklist, send us it to the info at the Profitable Salon Owner, and we'll send that to you too. So any last words, Kat?
Well, all I want to say is, that if you decide that 2016 is the year that you're going to be different, then you will be.
You got it. And remember, our motto for this year is dare to be different. Dare to be different. And it's up to you to determine that. So we'd like to thank all of you for being on this call. And Amanda, I can't believe how exciting it was to have you on our call today. Thank you so much. Paula Jensen. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Take care. We're going to have an amazing year together. And don't forget, we will be back here on the second Monday of February to do something new and exciting for you. Thanks so much. Bye, Desiree. Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Are you up?